Welcome to Paul's Learning Academy, where we condense information into small videos and do the research so you don't have to. Sit back, relax, and stay updated. Today we will talk about the Strait of Hormuz and its impact on the world. We'll also cover the impact of tensions in the Middle East, the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical choke point. Geography. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman, connecting the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea. At its narrowest, it's only about 21 miles wide. With just 2-mile shipping lanes, why it matters, roughly 20% of the world's oil supply and about 30% of global LNG passes through it daily. There's simply no easy alternative route. For the USA, the US doesn't import much Gulf oil directly anymore, thanks to domestic shale production. But it cares deeply because allied economies like Europe, Japan, South Korea, and India depend on it. A closure would spike global oil prices. Hitting the US economy indirectly, the US Navy's Fifth Fleet is based in Bahrain specifically to keep it open. It's a primary leverage point in any conflict with Iran. For Europe, heavily dependent on Gulf energy imports, a closure would cause immediate energy price shocks and shortages, especially for countries with less diversified supply chains. For China, China is the biggest stakeholder. It imports more Gulf oil than anyone else. About 40% of China's oil comes through the strait. This is why China maintains relatively warm ties with both Iran and Gulf Arab states simultaneously. For Japan and South Korea, almost entirely dependent on Middle East oil with no domestic reserves, a prolonged closure would be an economic emergency within weeks. For India, imports a huge share of its oil through the strait and also has a massive expatriate worker population in Gulf countries, sending remittances home, so the stakes are both economic and human. For Iran, Iran's biggest card to play, threatening to close the strait, is Tehran's main deterrent against military action. Ironically, Iran also exports its own oil through the strait, so closure would hurt Iran too, but it's a threat they've repeatedly made. For Gulf Arab states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Kuwait ship virtually all their oil exports through it. Saudi Arabia has a pipeline east-west that bypasses the strait, but it handles only a fraction of their export volume. The core tension: Iran periodically threatens to close the strait during geopolitical flare-ups, such as nuclear deal tensions, sanctions, and military confrontations. The US and allies respond by surging naval presence. So far, it has never been fully closed. The economic mutually assured destruction keeps all sides in check. Bottom line, it's a 21-mile gap that the entire global economy has to squeeze through, and the country sitting on one side of it, Iran, uses that geography as a permanent geopolitical weapon. The oil impact: Iran's closure has blocked roughly 12 million barrels of oil from the world each day, creating a profound supply shortage. Governments and companies have drawn down to 150 million barrels of crude from storage since the war broke out. Oil prices topped $100 a barrel again on Sunday. The failed peace talks this weekend, after the US and Iran failed to reach an agreement in face-to-face peace talks in Islamabad, Trump announced a naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, saying talks had failed because Iran is unwilling to give up its nuclear ambitions. Talks collapsed after Iran refused US red lines, including an end to all uranium enrichment, dismantling major enrichment facilities, and fully opening the strait without charging a toll. The blockade, starting today, the US military blockade of Iranian ports, began at 10 a.m. ET. Today, Monday, April 13th, Trump threatened that Iranian ships would be eliminated if they came near the blockade. Iran's acting defense minister responded that its forces are on maximum combat alert. Global reactions: France and the UK are convening talks to restore freedom of navigation in the strait, calling it a strictly defensive mission. The UN's Food and Agriculture Organization warned a global food crisis could develop if normal traffic doesn't resume soon, saying the clock is ticking. The Kremlin criticized the blockade, saying it will likely continue to negatively impact international markets. Iran granted passage to ships from China, Russia, India, Iraq, Pakistan, Malaysia, Thailand, and the Philippines following bilateral talks, Stay tuned for more quick and finely researched videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe.